Alright, any commentary coming through? Alright, any commentary coming through? Alright, we're good. Alright, just 1 second to get everything set up. Hey, Wesley's here. We will rip and tear indeed, and it will be glorious. Alright, so I think we are about ready to begin. So to kind of give some context as to why I'm doing this. So Doom Eternal got pushed back from November of this year to March of next year, I believe, which gives me a lot of time to catch up on my backlog of games and to kind of get back on an id Software kick, so to speak, which I've definitely done. So from the moment that I got this PS4 Pro that this is being live streamed on, I started going back through a couple of games on the PS4. So I had the Wolfenstein collection that had Old Blood and the New Order, and I replayed those in chronological order, starting with Old Blood, then moving on to New Order, and I blew straight through New Order, and I forgot how much I absolutely loved that game, and how it's like head and shoulders the best Wolfenstein single-player campaign, probably in the entire series, and I blew through it in like just a couple of days, playing it off and on, and I'm like, alright, well, it's time to move on to Doom. So, and after that, I'm going to finally finish Rage 2, and then hopefully have all that done before Doom Eternal comes out in March, easily. That will require me to actually play Rage 2 with some diligence, though, but that should be a lot easier now than it was when the game was new. So, for full context, the id Software games have always been some of my favorites, but this game right here might not only be my favorite modern game, like my favorite game in the last 5 years or so, it might be in my top 5 favorite games, period. It has left such an impact on me, and it came out already in a year of fantastic games, so 2016 is probably one of my favorite years in games, period, recently. It had Deus Ex Mankind Divided, Dishonored 2, the Japanese version of Fate Extella came out that year. Some of my favorite games, and this was the crown jewel of that year by far. Wesley said he's playing Jedi Fallen Order. How is that, by the way? I've heard some people compare it to Dark Souls, like it's a kind of a Dark Souls clone, but set in the Star Wars universe. I just think the production quality of it looks really cool, so I like that they went that route with it. Alright, so let's get into some gameplay, shall we? So, I'm already a little bit of a ways into the game, so I'm currently trying to, start the meltdown sequence in the reactor. Michelle made a comment earlier that she has only played either the original Doom or Doom 2 and had no idea what was going on. And I said, there's demons on Mars, and that's all you have to know about it. So we're playing on Ultraviolent, which is the hardest difficulty you have available at the beginning of the game, and then there's 2 higher difficulties later on after you've beaten the game. So this will provide quite a challenge, but not as much as some of those higher difficulties, and I don't think I've ever gone back and played it on anything harder than this. but it does present quite a bit of a challenge. But you never really... The one thing about the combat in this game is you never really feel like you're completely outmatched by anyone. It's just kind of all based on your reflexes and inputs. And in that way, it's very similar to the original Doom games in a way. That's by far my favorite glory kill, is the ground pound like that. It's just so satisfying. And that's a Hell Knight, which I don't have a lot of health to deal with, so I may have to go defeat one of these smaller enemies. Or switch to my grenade attachment here. Oh, that was very close to ending very badly. These enemies can really rip you apart when you first run into them, but then you kind of learn how to deal with them, and they become a lot easier after that. And that's kind of the way this game naturally evolves, is as you kind of adapt to its learning curve, it gives you more resources to deal with the enemies you go up against, and therefore can introduce more tough enemies. I actually just bought the micro missiles for the heavy machine gun, which is one of the most fun attachments. The music in this game is also one of the other standout features, because the music in this game complements the gameplay extremely, to where it creates this perfect orchestra, this perfect match of gameplay and music, to where your inputs actually have a direct correlation to the gameplay and what's happening. That was bad. Should have had the other attachment on. Come on. This could end badly. There we go. But it's... Regardless of how much damage you take, the game is still encouraging you to be aggressive, because the more aggressive you are, the better the chances are you can do a glory kill and get some of your health back. So it encourages a very floaty, aggressive playstyle. It doesn't really encourage you to sit and camp behind corners like other shooter games. Alright, the music is still cranked up, which means there's still an enemy left. But I need more ammo, so he's getting the chainsaw. Wonderful. Let me know, guys, if this is streaming, if this is actually holding at 60 FPS, because I have a feeling it's not, but I'm not able to like watch it at the same time. So Wesley's asking, am I picking up Star Ocean on the PS4? Probably not, because I have the PSP version that I still haven't played, and I've actually had to buy that game twice. And I'll tell you why. So the first copy of First Departure that I got on the PSP was from McKay's, and they didn't bother to check which UMD was in the case when they had it traded in. So it was a completely different game that was in the UMD, or it was in the case. So I ended up having the case for Star Ocean, but not the game itself. And so I had to buy another copy of it just to have the game itself. So I really don't feel like buying Star Ocean a third time. Alright, so I guess I completed everything in this area. This is the first part, the first real level that's like a true open sandbox like this. I forget where to go now. Where have I not been yet, is the question. I see some armor up there because the map has not been completed. There's also another area I can go down over here that I haven't been to yet. I should probably try to make this run through the game the most complete run that I have done. But that would involve taking a break to actually read the strategy guide, which I'm not about to do. I think I may have gone backwards accidentally is what happened. Yeah, because I think right over here is where I picked up the... Yeah, this is where I came up before when I started and I touched that terminal, so I was just going the wrong way is all. Give me the token. So the first thing I'm going to do when I get into my new house and get the TV set up, I've finally got I've got a 4K TV a little bit ago. I got a really good deal. Is boot up this game, you know, obviously PS4 Pro, 4K compatibility, and actually play this in 4K. I'm really excited to see what it looks like.
Alpha 402.
She has
sort me out, Dr. Hayden.
All power reloaded to Argent Energy Tower.
She is trying to tear open the portal between our world and theirs.
Oh boy. It's okay. More problems just make us angrier.
Anyway.
Do you mind? Alright, a lot of these regular like zombie mobs are actually like, they're so weak that they're pretty much within range of a glory kill right when you first run into them. Oh, he didn't even get him in range of a glory kill. He just died right off the bat.
The system won't allow anyone but Olivia to override it now. We will have to shut down the Argent Tower manually from the surface.
Can do. Yeah, he's like, Samuel Hayden is the, Wesley says Samuel Hayden is the world's most exhausted sounding robot, and I'm like, yeah, he has had entirely too much of this shit. So, like, all of the id Software games have never really been known for their story. Obviously, Wolfenstein The New Order has a really good story, but other than that, the mainline games have never really focused on that too much. And Doom 3 being, like, the only Doom game that even really tried. But I think with this one, they pretty much went for, hey, there's a ton of lore we're going to include in here, but not at the expense of the gameplay. So all that stuff kind of comes secondary, and you can kind of just skip by it if you don't care. That being said, Doom Eternal, on the other hand, seems like it's really, like, front-loaded with a lot of lore. And I'm kind of curious as to where that goes, because I do kind of like this new canon that they've gone with this Doom. And when this game first came out, there was a lot of discussion in the community as to whether or not the entire series was canon. I think most people can safely agree that it's not, but and that this game kind of introduced a new canon. But whatever, that's totally fine. One of the other major things that's different from Doom 3 to this game is all the exterior sections. You can be out in the exterior surface of Mars for an unlimited amount of time, whereas in Doom 3 you had to collect those oxygen tanks, and you just had a much weaker, more fragile suit that wasn't really meant for this kind of action at all. Another thing about the design of this game you notice is if there's a ledge that you're meant to grip onto, they intentionally put little green flashing things right there so you'll know that you can jump to it. That's just kind of a game design thing of you want the player to be able to... You want things that are interactable in the environment to be illuminated so the player will actually see them. That's something that's kind of a problem with a lot of the old PS1 games that have matte paintings as their backgrounds. Final Fantasy X is guilty of this, or Final Fantasy VII is guilty of this, rather, where there will be a background with something that's interactable in it, and you just can't see it, so you just got to mash your button until you can figure out what it is. So this is one of the rune trials. These are usually worth it. The vacuum rune is not that good, but it's a nice introduction to these type of challenges. So, of course, the challenge is kill 15 imps before the timer runs out, and each one that you kill, you get more time. So let's see if we can do that. I'm not sure if we can, but usually these are pretty difficult, or they require a couple of tries to get the hang of it. But I think I recently went through this not too long ago, and it wasn't too bad. So we're going to give it a try. There's other runes later on in the game that are much more worth it than this one, but this one essentially just gravitates items towards you. So let's say you get you get like a critical headshot on an enemy, like an imp, and it drops health. You can have that health be drawn towards you without having to go in for a glory kill that's close up. So far we're one-shotting all of them. That's good. Might die here. Nope, got some health. Hey, we got it first try. That wasn't too bad. Obviously, that's just the tutorial one, but whatever. They're optional, so they can afford to be more difficult. I also really appreciate in this game that there's no reload function. You have all of your your full ammo pool accessible to you at all times, and secondary abilities like thrown grenades are just on a cooldown, so it's fewer things you have to pick up. You can pick up a power up for it, and all it will essentially do. Oh, there was a helmet up there. All it will do is refill the cooldown thing for you automatically. So our ammo capacity for this heavy machine gun is pretty low, especially if we're going to be using the micro missiles. So, oh, there's some horrifying imagery for you. Thankfully, we did not select the option that the video was meant for kids. And here we get the rocket launcher, which of course is a staple of Doom, but also in typical id Software fashion does not behave like a one-shot kill type of weapon like it does in a lot of other games where you pick it up to fire it once and then you drop it. This is one of those staple weapons that you keep in your inventory for when you need it. I'll give it a demonstration here. What the heck? So, as you can see, it's pretty. It's very similar to how it was in Doom 3 and all of its predecessors. We're going to be saving that for enemies like the Mancubus or the Baron. Now, these guys are the bane of my existence, these shield shotgunners, because there's just no good spot to hit them with. So you try to hit them with splash damage with like the grenade launcher mode on the shotgun or the throwing grenade, but either way it doesn't seem to really do the trick. Like, it's a very tricky shot to be able to damage them, and if you're up close with them they can rip away your health pretty quick. So one of my least favorite enemy types for sure. Not as bad as the freaking flechette shotgunners from Wolfenstein though, because holy crap. We won't even use the rockets on this Hell Knight right here. Totally missed him with the shotgun there. Oh, he got us. And that's what happens in this game, is that at a moment's notice, when you're not paying attention, the game can turn its ugly head and then you're dead. And it manages to punish you in a way that keeps you coming back for more. It never feels frustrating to keep losing, because you know that the only reason why you lost is because of your competence. You know, a choice that you made during combat that made all the difference. It wasn't because the game was unfair or you were underprepared or anything like that. I'm not going to use the rockets this time on these guys. I'll save them. But it was a nice demonstration. Get some distance from this guy. Yeah, see, that barely did anything to his shield. It's really frustrating. Nice. That's an animation you don't see too often. There we go. Alright, where's the Hell Knight? There he is. See if I can get enough distance between me and him to just load him up with the plasma gun before he gets close to me. Yeah, there we go. See, that killed me the last time around, but then I just made it look easy there. And that's how things go with this game. We still just do not have a lot of ammo at all. We need to change that pretty quick. Here's one of the... Oh, don't run away, you little bitch. Those are the little robot things that give you weapon upgrades, and he's going to go hide down there, so we're going to have to go follow him. Here's an example of something that was basically patented by id Software, and you only really see it in their games, which is infighting amongst the enemies. So obviously there would be no honor amongst demons or whatever, but essentially the way the AI works is once an AI is aggroed, they'll just attack anything within range. So you'll see different types of enemies fighting amongst each other, and it's been that way since the very beginning. That was something that was kind of a trademark feature of the original Doom. But I don't think you really saw that in Doom 3 too much. Of course we take no fall damage, so we can just hop right off of there, no problem. Alright, where'd that dude go? Got some fuel for the chainsaw. Alright, what do we want? So I don't really need anything for the rocket launcher yet, because we don't really have the ammo to use that, nor is it necessary. Both of these are pretty effective, though, I will say. So I'm thinking about either getting the scope for the machine gun. Actually, I think I'll get the heat blast for the plasma gun, because that's just free damage, and I really do appreciate that. So after we build up the heat on the plasma gun, we just let it exhaust out. So Wesley says, isn't there a difficulty when you die? It makes you start from scratch. Yeah, that's the Ultra Nightmare difficulty, and a lot of games started having that recently. And actually, I talked about 2016 and Dishonored 2 and Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Both of them also had a difficulty mode like that. I am not a big fan of those difficulty levels where you die and you lose everything. They're definitely an option there for the perfectionist to say, hey, I want a perfect run. There's the heat blast for you. As you can see, it took out like 3 enemies. So I'm glad that, all things considered, I'm glad that option is there. Alright, so we just hit a gourd nest, which means we're going to get a huge amount of enemies coming in. What do I want for this? I think I want to wait for the, I can probably get that Hell Knight in this explosion right here. Yeah, there we go. A little bit of health back. Oh, I missed. That sucks. We'll use the rocket launcher without blowing ourselves up in the process. Oh, I got clipped by the laser on that. I don't remember what that enemy is called, but it's a new enemy for Doom 2016. Yeah, I'm not completely familiar with all of the secret areas in this game yet. I'm sure one day I will be. Oh, I have a bunch of points and stuff I can use. So, one of the things I definitely want to upgrade is the micro missiles. So I want to reduce the cost of how much ammo it costs to use them, and then probably the instant loader. And then the final upgrade for this, the bottomless missiles, is just absolutely hilarious. So you can just literally hold down the secondary, you can hold a secondary fire button and just launch missiles indefinitely. It's pretty freaking hilarious. What else do we want? I think I fully upgraded the charge shot on the pistol at one point in my first playthrough, but in hindsight, it's totally not worth it because you'll stop using it eventually. It's still good for taking out those weak mob enemies, but just in general, not worth it. It shows the total amount of enemies killed with each weapon, which I think is pretty cool. Obviously, the shotgun's going to have the most. Let's see. I'm going to put a bigger blast radius on the shotgun. And we're going to increase the heat rate of the plasma gun so that we'll be able to disperse the charge shot a lot faster. And I think I've got Praetor tokens as well. Let's go ahead and use those. So I have 2 Praetor tokens. Power-ups, we don't find those quickly enough. Switch weapons faster. Really, I think the best one to go with right here is decrease the cooldown time for equipment. So basically, we can use the grenades more quickly. I think that's a way, way better upgrade to go with. So I'm not even going to wait to... Well, actually, let's go over here. Another token. Caesar's asking if I'm looking forward to Dermot Turner. Yeah, no, I'm absolutely looking forward to it. That's kind of why I'm playing this, is because I'm kind of going back through all of the recent id games leading up to it. So, I'm absurdly excited for it. I'm actually kind of glad it was delayed, because while a lot of people, I'm sure, are salty about that, I'm glad it was delayed because of the fact that they delayed it for quality assurance, which I greatly appreciate, knowing Bethesda and how they can push deadlines. Fallout 76. And also the fact that it gives me more time to play my massive backlog of games. Man, that Hell Knight just... I had pretty much full health, and he just took all of it right away. Not to mention, I think I got hit by a few stray fireballs in the process. Give me some health. I don't know how that obeyed the laws of physics, but okay. I don't care for the fact that there's only like one animation for the Hell Knights being taken out, though. I wish there was like some kind of curb stomp animation for them too. But the glory kills never get old. And again, it ties into the music because it's almost like a solo during a song where all of the other instruments get quiet to focus on one instrument and just let it rip. So the composer for this game, Mick Gordon, is an absolute genius. And the way that he had the balance of like heavy metal and electronic instruments, and then like I said, how he connects, that was great. It blew up right in my freaking face. How he sort of marries the gameplay with the music is just incredible. There's a great video about it that a guy did. If I can remember what his channel name is. And he talks a lot about how as the intensity of the gameplay ramps up, so does the intensity of the music. They always match each other. And these slower paced moments, of course, have more slower paced music. And when you finally get to like towards the end of the game where you have all of your equipment and you go ahead and heal up, you have all your equipment, and then the music is just super fast paced and intense. And he also talked about, if you remember the trailer for this game that was first shown at E3, the gameplay was deceptively very slow pace, and I think they did that on purpose, where they had a trailer that was almost deceptively misleading, and they showed gameplay that was very slow, and they had a rendition of E1M1 from the original Doom that was really slowed down, and but it matched the tone of that trailer, and then of course when you get the final product, you're like, okay, this is much more appropriate for this speed of gameplay. Another health thing, I don't need that. Those things do come in handy, though, I will admit. Alright, I need to get up there somehow. got to be a way. Oh yeah, here we go. Again, look for the green lights. Game Design 101. The player has to see their pathway.
You must stop. The hell energy is unusable without the filters.
Don't care.
Warning.
That was another thing a lot of people talked about when this game first came out, is how you have a silent protagonist that somehow has more personality than any other like FPS protagonist in a lot of games, purely just through like his gestures and his body language, because you just get the vibe that this dude is just pissed off and just does not care about anything anybody has to say. And so the guy's telling him like, don't destroy that technology, it's powerful beyond what you can possibly comprehend. And he's like, oh, I'll destroy it all right, and I'll take my time with it. I will meticulously dismantle it from the ground up. Caesar says, fun fact, Bethesda wanted Mick Gordon to avoid using heavy metal to make it appeal more to people. And Mick Gordon was like, yeah, hell no. That's interesting. I can believe that. I can believe that the original script was more of like more electronica and less heavy metal. But Doom's whole brand, ever since the original game, has always been about metal. You know, if you take that away from it... Alright, so, armed with a pistol, destroy 30 barrels before the timer expires. Okay, let's see if we can do this. Oh, that happened. Well, I can't say that's ever happened before. Of course, that's what has to happen when you're streaming, right? Or in some kind of marathon is a that's never happened before moment. Let's try that again. Can't say I'm as fast as this as I'd like to be. Part of it is the rate of fire of this pistol. It's not as good as it could be. $26. Come on. 4. Hey, we got it. And that's a pretty good rune to have, because if you stagger an enemy and put them within glory kill range, it increases the duration in which they remain that way, which I think is pretty important, especially in the later on encounters when you're trying your damnedest to, no pun intended, to keep the bigger enemies like the Mancubus and the Baron stunned, and if you let them come out of that state, then, yeah, maybe you can still kill them, but you're not going to get the health that they drop or anything like that if you miss out on that window. So I think it's important. We don't have another slot for it. We have to complete 3 rune trials in order to do that. I'm okay with not having that right now. I think that one will be more important later in the game. Yeah, Caesar goes on to say he likes that challenge because of how it teaches you the importance of your positioning in combat. And I agree. I think that all the... are we maxed out on rockets? Shame on me for not using it. Yeah, it definitely teaches you the importance of your positioning in combat. Also, futuristic pallet jack! Man. How did they get it up here in the first place? Elevators, I guess. Yeah, there was a moment like that in Rage at one point where there's like a pallet jack that's like on the 2nd floor and there's like no elevator inside. I'm like, how did you get it up the stairs? Alright, so we got that. There should be one more of those things we have to destroy. Alright, we have another gore nest up here. Oh, great. Nice. One thing I really love about the grenade launcher on the shotgun is that it only costs 2 shells to use it, so it's not a huge ammo expenditure for increased range and damage. You can chuck it at walls when imps are climbing them to knock them off and kill them in one shot. Oh, that Hell Knight's gonna kill me. I gotta move. Oh, give me your health. Ooh, that was nice. Surprised that discharge didn't kill him. These guys are tougher than they look. Oh, they already look pretty tough. He's also like the Chad demon as well. Like, he's super bulky, and they also like put a lot of attention to detail in Doom 3. That's how like muscular their ass is. Nice. Is this where I came in from? No, it couldn't be. I think it just loops around in the same little area up here. Yeah, it does. Yeah, technically the Caesar's like pallet jacks are a nightmare. They are, in fact. I had a friend in the Firearm Discord that told me today that at his warehouse, somebody got fired for riding a pallet jack like a scooter. And as somebody who has to focus on safety at their job, I said, good, they deserve everything that happens to them from now. If you're going to be an adult and act like a children at your job, then you deserve everything that happens to you. Alright, so this is a really interesting door nest encounter here, where we're going to get a new enemy type, and I don't actually remember the name of them. It's like specters or something. They are, they're pretty interesting in the way their animation works. I'm probably going to die here. Dang it. Okay, that was clutch. That was not about to go well. There's fireballs coming from so many different directions. The enemy should spawn in here in a second. I also love the color in this room because it's like a... there's a rather... I need to use the chainsaw and get some ammo back. The use of blue in this room, I think, is a really cool contrast to the outside environments of Mars. Obviously have so much red, and it also makes the appearance of this new enemy that much more spooky. Also is the quad damage here. I think the quad damage is here, guys. Oh, what's that? Oh, I think it's haste, actually. Haste. And now we're playing Quake Arena all of a sudden. Our fire speed and run speed is dramatically increased. One of my favorite power-ups in Quake. Not as much as the quad damage, though, because the sound effect that quad damage makes is just unbelievable. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe we don't encounter that enemy in this room. That might be a little bit later on, but you guys know the one I'm talking about. Alright, so we should find the last Argent energy container thing in here somewhere. I think that's where we came in on. Yep, here we go. Again, I'm full on rockets, but I didn't really need to use them there. What, no dramatic monologue from Samuel Hayden there?
Energy contamination at critical limit.
Oh, there it is. That's bad news. They can teleport, and it's pretty crazy. They remind me a lot of the Archviles, but they're clearly not, because Archviles are bigger and nastier and in Doom Eternal. Also, thank you for not putting Archviles in this game. That's one of the most nightmare-inducing enemies in any video game. You hear that sound effect and you see your screen go up in a blaze. Alright, I may need to use rockets for you, if I can hit you with them. Nope, not happening. Oh, yeah, I just got ripped in half. There's my other half, right there. That happens. Yeah, so again, if anybody remembers the name of this enemy, let me know, because I do not remember what their name is. But they are quite fearsome. We don't actually fight them that often in the game, though. So let's readjust my focus here. I don't really have enough ammo to use the heavy assault rifle effectively, so I think I'm going to stick with the plasma gun. And heal up a little bit more, of course. The teleporting is what drives me crazy, because you never know where they're going to show up again. Well, I guess you kind of know. Alright, I got it down to critical. Nice! You fuck off. Yeah, sometimes it just takes that one attempt, and all of a sudden it gets easy. You know, you die once, and you try it again, and you got it figured out. That's one of the great things about this game. Alright, see another gore nest over there. Your sacrifice will not be in vain. I'll take your token and I will go spend it on video gamey shit. So I could decrease the... Actually, you know what? I think that's worth it. I'm going to spend that on decreasing the splash damage we take from our own weapons so we can use the rocket launcher more up close. We have 4 weapon upgrade tokens as well, so... We can either... What do we want to do? I think we want to save them, and I think I want my next weapon upgrade module to be for the rocket launcher. Alright, so we need to get back over there. The question is... How do we do that? I think we simply just go in through this way. Because this is where we were before. Okay, so Caesar says the Lady Demon is called the Summoner because she has that nifty ability to summon imps and pain. There's another enemy that can summon pain, and it's in the next game, the Pain Elementals, which summon Lost Souls. Lost Souls are very amusing in this game. They're not as amusing as they were in Doom 3, where, especially in the Doom 3 expansion, where you had that like knockoff gravity gun, where you could literally just pick up the Lost Souls out of the air and drop them, and they would just die. Lost Souls were actually not the joke enemy in Doom 1 and 2 that they were in Doom 3, because, oh, we got the Berserk power-up! Yeah! Oh no, I can't, maybe I can. Yeah, here we go. I was like, I can't use the Berserk power-up and kill everything from the Gore Nest at the same time. You want to know the meaning of catharsis? This. This right here. Oh boy! I've never seen that before. Wow! That was intense. His head came clean off. Woo! Wow. I've had a rough week, and this is extremely cathartic. I don't know what that says about me as a person, but apparently I'm not the only one, because a lot of people seem to enjoy this game.
Council of Nine is always watching.
If stopping our energy production is what you want, then you need only to destroy this last filter, and Argent energy will no longer exist in this solar system. We will be back at square one.
Look at how he just like meticulously grips his fingers into a fist. He's enjoying like every second of this. Oh, got a little overzealous there.
You have no idea what you have just done.
Can we just like take this with us and use it later?
Olivia is still alive. I've detected her life signature at the Argent Tower. She has her
Yeah,
one of the
Caesar says Berserk has the best executions, and then makes a reference to
that we can try.
the anime/manga Berserk, which of course I'm also a huge fan
That's
of.
it then.
And Wesley says this game is a great stress reliever, which, yeah, no kidding.
Questioning your faith?
Another token. This game does have... I thought that was something alive there for a second. This game does have the similar problem that Wolfenstein also has, in the sense that it kind of asks you to do arbitrary things in combat in order to get all your upgrades. So all those circles at the top of the screen that are filling in... oh my god, are you kidding me? So some of the challenges we have to do in this stage include perform 2 Death from Above glory kills on Hell Knights. That is not easy to do. So, yeah, had I known I was supposed to do that at the beginning of the stage, I would have set out to do that. And that's what I mean about the game kind of gets you to do arbitrary things. But you're not forced to do any of that stuff. You can easily just ignore that stuff and continue on as you always would.
Remember, the 12 Council of Nine.
I think I still have to go this way, though, because the game is kind of directing me. Yeah, here we go. I don't know why I looked away and didn't go through this airlock. Yeah, so see, I almost got all of the combat bonuses there. But this game does have a... I mean, you can go through it linearly and ignore all of the side stuff and still have an engaging experience. But thankfully it has that extra content there to warrant going back for another visit and trying to optimize your playthrough.
Primary access points to the tower were destroyed in the explosion. The pipeline is damaged but still intact. There are thrust boots in the maintenance hangar. You can use them to traverse the pipeline.
Kill Olivia Pierce. Great. So this is actually one of my favorite levels in the game, at least in the early part. So this is where we get the double jump, the thrust boots, as he called it there. And it's also where we're first introduced to the Revenant, which is right there. And he's having a good old time, apparently. So he has homing rockets, which we also have, so we'll give him a taste of his own medicine. These enemies introduced the patented homing rockets that became the bane of every FPS gamer's existence, because they were in every single id Software game afterward. Also, the Revenant design in this game, absolutely outstanding. Of course, I've got the statue of this guy in my house, thanks to the limited edition. Just yeeted that guy into the distance. Because you, as the character, know that they're explosive, so you just... Oh! That's not good. You like rockets? We like rockets too, Revenant. Let's see if we can get the glory kill on the Revenant. Yes, kneel before me. Oh! That's also where the Doot meme comes from, which that meme was so popular it actually made its way into the meta of the game itself. So like there was an image of the Revenant with trumpets instead of shoulder cannons, and it was playing a trumpet, and the caption was Doot. That was nice. That was another contextual glory kill there. And that meme became so popular that apparently in Doom Eternal, in the Monsters vs. Humans game type, there is a Doot Revenant that you can play as that has trumpets on his shoulders instead of shoulder cannons. Yay, we get the totally not the space jump boots from Metroid here.
Argent Tower, also known as the Argent Chapter, is the UAC's crowning achievement.
Caesar says if you're a fan of stealth games, I highly recommend Mark of the Ninja. What system was that released for? Because I think I've seen a speedrun of that, and that's my only exposure to it. It seems like it's a smaller or like indie game, not something that is too mainstream, but that would actually make me more inclined to want to play it. So now the movement sandbox really opens up for us because we have double jump, and that adds so much to an FPS game. Rage 2 has a innate double jump that you have right from the beginning, and it's just awesome. Platforming in FPS games has always been weird. I think the way that Metroid Prime did it was serviceable for its time, but it also seemed kind of awkward at first until you realize just how well they implemented it. But this game definitely has some of the best... Has some of the best first-person platforming of any shooter game. So it's on the PC, PS4, and Xbox One. It's a 2D stealth puzzle platformer. I would be okay with that. Alright, so another rune trial. Use the super shotgun to eliminate 30 unwilling before the timer expires. Let's try it. So we actually haven't gotten the super shotgun yet. I think it might be in this area, though. And once we get that, oh boy. We get our patented boomstick. He also says Portal is probably the best first-person puzzle platformer, but you're not... I mean, I wouldn't consider Portal to be a platformer because you're not crossing over gaps with your jumps. It's more like the first-person... the Portal mechanic allows you to cover gaps, but I wouldn't say that it's like a game where jumping is traditionally the common method of movement. Alright. So, let's see if we can do this. Oh, we reload that quickly, don't we? Try to get more than one of them in the same shot, and I think we get a bonus for doing that. That was a 3-for-1. Of course, we didn't get any credit for doing that glory kill. $26. Ah, crap, we're gonna run out of time. Almost. Yeah! Less than 1 second left. Those trials are pretty satisfying when you come in clutch right there at the end and finish. And then JGMJR says that it almost feels like Call of Duty Nazi Zombies from World at War. Yeah, I guess so in a way. The sort of arcadiness of it and the fact you're fighting zombies with a shotgun. I guess so. Alright then. So the whole Argent Tower is one big like vertical section where you're doing a lot of climbing. It's pretty cool. I hope I didn't miss the super shotgun here. I'm pretty sure it's in this area. I thought for sure it was. Unless I'm just crazy, which is always a possibility. Yeah, I don't think it is. Either way, I mean, honestly, we don't actually need it right now. Yeah, we've got to get all the way up there. And that's actually where the first hell level begins, is after we do the whole Argent Tower sequence. So there's some pretty tight spaces coming up here, and we're going to be relying on the heavy machine gun quite a bit to take out a lot of the imps that spawn up here. There's not that many of them, but this can be a tricky environment to fight anything in when it's close quarters, and we don't have a whole lot of room to dodge their projectiles. So if we get any enemies that spawn in over here, we're definitely going to want to take them out. Oh, there's one. There we go. I was like, I know I don't need to fire all 5 of these rockets, because, or all 6 of them, because there's a barrel right next to him. Yeah, I kicked him off the side. That was amazing. Oh, for a second there I thought that was a Hell Knight. I bet you there's something secret back here, so time to find out. We can't old school bunny hop. If only we could. No? Nothing? Huh. I thought for sure there'd be a secret back here or something. Maybe over there. That's an interesting little side area. Let's go check it out. There's got to be something up here. There we go. Yeah, I don't think I've ever been up here before my previous playthroughs, so... He couldn't even get his attack animation all the way through. Oh, this is a little overwhelming. Luckily, we have rockets for that. Yeah, I should say I know I was frustrated with those guys before, but now that we have the rocket launcher, I guess that actually does make pretty short work of them. Alright, weapon upgrade unit. That's exactly what I wanted. So I guess... I never really used the stun bomb that much for the plasma rifle. I didn't think it was that good. I mean, it is pretty good, but it's... I kind of just prefer the utility of the heat blast. Which one do I think would be better for the rocket launcher right now? The remote detonation is kind of the standard one I use. And... the lock-on burst is more for really big enemies later in the game, such as the Barons, so I really only bring that out for that, whereas this can be really useful. I'm trying to think of what other game had that where you remote detonated the rockets, because another game had it, and I can't quite put my finger on which one it was. Alright. Which one of these do I want? I think I want the larger explosion. That's going to create a massively improved splash damage for the rockets, assuming we use the manual detonation instead of trying to create a direct impact. And that's just a lot more reliable than, like I said, trying to create a direct impact and also trying to hit the ground around the enemy. Oh, hell. That's not good. And we died. Alright, a little bit of a setback on our path, but it was worth it for that upgrade. That was nerve-wracking because your feet just kind of skirt by the ledge of that. Excuse you. You can die now. Do you mind? Seem to have lost my way here. I guess I gotta go back over here and climb up some more. Yeah, it tells you impact compensation there at the bottom, like it's some kind of special feature, but there's no point in the game where you don't have that. Like, you can never die from a fall impact, aside from, like, falling out of bounds like I did. Reminds me a lot of Metroid Prime with the space jump boots. The ambience in this game also reminds me a lot of Metroid Prime, just a much more violent Metroid Prime. Nice, Wesley just got a double-sided lightsaber in Jedi Fallen Order. I actually picked up a copy of that for my brother for Christmas, don't tell him. So he'll have it. He's been in kind of a Star Wars kick lately. He actually is having a screening at our house of the Star Wars Holiday Special, which those of you who are familiar with it know that it is infamously bad. It was the only Star Wars property that George Lucas was quote-unquote personally ashamed of, and so it only aired on TV once. There's the super shotgun. Yeah!
Infiltration system developed by Dr. Olivia Pierce. We are the only corporation with this technology, able to convert
Beautiful.
pure L energy into clean, controllable Argent energy.
Go ahead and get our map
It
downloaded.
powers this facility and is broadcast throughout the universe from Argent Tower.
I love how it's still covered in blood, too. I think that lasts for a while. I think that can happen to any of your weapons where they get blood splattered like that. It'll eventually go away, though.
It takes a team to make it. A team of people full of energy, potential energy.
Yeah. I love it. We don't have that, again, we don't have that much of a use for it right now because it is essentially the same thing as the regular shotgun. It's just more damage per shot. Wow, I just got sniped by those guys. But it is extremely useful, especially at taking out the bigger enemies. So we will be whipping that thing out quite a bit, probably for the majority of the later parts of the game. It'll be our go-to. We'll still use the regular shotgun for some of its features because the super shotgun, being a primitive weapon, doesn't have any of the add-ons that the... Now we're really playing Quake. We're using that remote detonation too, and it came in handy quite a bit. We blew a hole in that Hell Knight there. And the best track in the whole soundtrack is playing right now. I can barely hear it because, of course, I have my audio turned down low for the sake of the recording, but you guys can hear it nicely on the stream, I'm sure. Oh boy, you made a big mistake, dude. Teleport right in front of me when I got this bad boy. Oh. Of course, it was a mistake even coming out of hell to show yourself with me around. And this is kind of what you do with the Super Shotgun. You just dance around enemies until you have an opening, and then that ends up being it for them. That's one down. Oh, wait. Is that quad damage? Give me more enemies. Give me more enemies. Oh, that's a shame. I really misused that then. I was too excited to use the Super Shotgun and didn't realize I had quad damage. Am I going the right way? I guess I'll find out pretty soon. Gotta love the sound effect that quad damage makes, though. Alright, so this is the top of the Argent Tower. This is another major arena battle. This is a tough one too, because we're going to have Revenants in here, and we're also going to have the first appearance of the Mancubus. So I'm at full health, but there's a large armor set down there. I need to go ahead and pick that up right off the bat. There's also some man cannon type things. I can't remember what they're called in Quake, but obviously they're man cannons in Halo, so whatever. We're going to take advantage of that. And we'll probably get through this major encounter before we end the stream, because of course the next level is a hell level, so that'll be a great place to cut it off. And there's the chunky boy himself, the Mancubus. Isn't that just a face only a mother could love? We're gonna use the remote detonation on him to get some extra damage in. Oh, he's got some flamethrowers. I love the glory kills with the Mancubus too, because you like rip out one of his explosives and like shove it down his throat. Let me get that armor. Wish I had the quad damage now. Getting up close to the Mancubus is very dangerous, and it's also very deceptive for people that think they know the enemy types from the original Doom, because you're like, oh yeah, the Mancubus, he just got little like rocket launchers on his arms, right? No, he's got flamethrowers too, so if you get close to him, you'll get screwed. Oh boy! Ooh. Alright, you're getting the chainsaw. I need more rockets anyway. Alright, there's one other enemy that was attacking us up here. Maybe a few. I didn't see the Revenants come in for this encounter. Maybe I'm misremembering that. Alright, anybody else? Who else wants some? Bring it on. Oh, there was quad damage in here too. I'm such an idiot. Oh well, hard mode. No quad damage. Alright, there's still an enemy left, because the music is still wanting to jam out. There you are. There's the Revenants. Oh, that was beautiful. Completely just evaporated that imp with the super shotgun with quad damage. What else? What else you got?
Demonic presence eliminated.
And then we get the crescendo for the music. Ooh, boy. I'm surprised I got through that encounter in one go. That was pretty intense. Again, this is one of my favorite stages in the game. What was that, like 5 Mancubus, maybe? And like 2 Revenants? Alright, man. Have a good night. Thanks for joining us. I think we gotta shut this thing down somehow.
The accumulator's energy signature indicates that it is nearing the top of this Argent facility.
If she ruptures that accumulator near the Argent beam, she could open a portal to their world that we will never be able to close.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect.
Oh, great. Another encounter. I didn't realize we had another encounter up here. I thought that was the end of it. Looks like a power-up up there. Oh, invincibility. How cool. Nice. Sorry if I'm not talking as much, I'm trying to concentrate, and it seems to be doing me pretty well. Ah, there we go. I was gonna say, do I not have enough fuel to be able to get a kill on this guy? Dang. Not exactly sure what got me there, but okay. Doesn't surprise me too much.
Demonic presence at unsafe levels. Lockdown in effect.
I'm gonna wait to pick up that invincibility until I'm in like critical condition. Ah, hell. Alright, Caesar, have a good night. Thank you for joining us. Alright, I think that's as good a time as any to cut this off. Again, the next section is when we finally get to hell. So that'd be a good time to jump back into it next time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it as always. And I'll see you guys next time.